So obviously the first one kind of culminated in Bilbo and Thorin kind of having this lovely
hug,
yeah, and it's
the love-in.
Yeah, that kind of shatters in really quickly.
It does. I feel like that was a gateway really to the future of their relationship in this film. I feel like Thorin is opening up to Bilbo and seeing him for the asset that he is, as opposed to the liability that he thought he was in movie one. And he seems to prove himself time and time again. It's difficult for Thorin to accept that, though, because it means he's failing in front of his men. So that's the change that's happening in the character, aside from the action. And as we go into the third film, the relationship between Bilbo and Thorin gets really intense.
And I mean, obviously, your character it does play a major role in the book, but it's expanded a lot in the film.
Yeah.
Did that develop at all once it got made from 2 films into 3?
We added lots of bits that sort of just helped the story progress, and sometimes just little scenes that would help, especially with Bard. There's quite a few new scenes we shot that are in this film, which absolutely seeing them in the film were valid and the right thing to do.
Kind of filling in his place in Lake Town. And
yeah, we wanted to, the Black Arrow issue was always difficult. How was he going to get the Black Arrow, and where did he get it from, and why does he not speak of it and all that? So we got the arrow, we hid it in the kitchen, and it's been there the whole time, and the kids didn't know it was there, and that's what we that was a new scene, and that sort of works very well, I think.
So I made one stipulation when I agreed to do this job. I say that as if I was reluctant. I was I was thrilled, but I had to sort of put in my one stipulation, which was, you cannot write a love triangle for this character. I refuse to do another love triangle. And I was guaranteed you will not be in another love triangle. And of course, I shot for a year. They shot for 2 years, no love triangle. Everything's on the up and up. And then we come back for reshoots a year later, and sure enough, suddenly Tauriel is involved in another love triangle. And I wanted to be pissed off, and I wanted to sort of, fight the idea, but I actually knew that it was the right choice for the story, and I understood why they did it. And so I just had to bow to the story and say, I had to put myself aside and do what's right. It's hard to, because I don't want to totally spoil it if people haven't seen it, but I mean, there is a moment involving Thorin and the dragon, which I think is not in the book. I mean, that must have been fun.
Yeah, I think the last sequence of the movie, the whole dragon fight, is a real achievement for the filmmaker, and it's something which never existed. It was completely crafted as a great finale, and it gives the opportunity for Thorin to come face to face with the dragon, which didn't happen in the book. And that dragon stole Thorin's future. Really, he robbed him of his youth, and he's claiming it back.
I love that scene when Bilbo's he looks one way and then he looks the other way, and he sees like the tail moving, and you go, oh my God, this thing's enormous.
It's just one tiny part of the dragon.
It's brilliant idea.
And without Benedict Cumberbatch inside of him, psychologically and vocally, it would just be a beautiful CGI character, but it's brought to life by that intellect.
Looking forward to the sort of the third part, in some ways it's kind of a tragic story. It's actually much darker than people kind of remember it. I mean, is Tauriel being a new character, Tauriel, sorry. What can we look forward to from her in the third part? I'm assuming more battle.
Yes, she definitely does a lot more fighting, but she also does a lot more feeling, and I think that's something that people should prepare themselves for the third film. I think it is very much the crescendo of these 3 films. There'll be no early peaking in the Hobbit trilogy. It's the third film. But I think, if they're expecting Return of the King, it's not that sort of continuous epic battle after epic battle. It's a simpler story about the relationships that we've been building over 3 films, and how those relationships either come to fruition or come to an end.
It is a tragic story. It's an epic sweeping tale of tragedy and sacrifice, and it's without spoiling the third movie. The wheels are in motion, and it's quite terrifying what's about to happen.